Okay, some people just joined us now. We are doing listening practice. So this is like a preamble before our TEF preparatory. It is important that we practice our listening exercise. That way, we can gradually begin to introduce how to be able to um, learn the informations that we get when we listen to them in French, be able to retain those information, be able to get comfortable with the pronunciations that we are going to encounter in this short film that we're going to be watching now. So please, I want us to pay attention. So if you're logging into the class right now, you haven't missed so much. So I am going to rewind a little bit and start afresh. So please pay attention to the words that you hear, the pronunciation, the way the words are orally pronounced, and the transcriptions that you're going to see on your screen. After this, the next one I'm going to play is not going to have transcriptions in order to make sure that we are able to retain information, hear what they are saying, and be able to say what we have heard. Okay? So I will go back. So scène 8 is where we are. Des habitudes différentes.
Et si 20 fois je pose une plongée, pas de requins dans la jambe, c'est clair.
Désolé, il est 8h15. Je voudrais voir plus belle la vie.
Je crois que c'est deux.
Voir plus belle la vie. 8h15.
What does this mean? Anybody?
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Good. No, not quarter to 8. Quarter past 8:15. Good.
And I would like to see
Yes.
Bella View.
Good.
That's
Good. Can you pronounce that in French?
Plus Bella Vie.
No, the entire sentence of what she said.
Désolé, il est 8h15. Je voudrais voir plus belle la vie.
Très bien. Another person who can give us this? I am waiting for something here.
Désolé,
Mm-hmm.
il est nuit à l'école.
Mm-hmm.
Je voudrais voir plus belle la vie.
Okay, let me take it. Désolé. Il est 8h15. Je voudrais voir plus belle la vie. Okay, so she says, sorry, it is 8:15. I would like to watch. I would like to see Plus Belle la Vie. Plus Belle la Vie is the name of a TV series, and you're going to see it in the ensuing conversation.
Je voudrais voir plus belle la vie.
Je crois que c'est deux plongées de feuilles.
C'est quoi? Une série. La série préférée de ma grand-mère.
What did she answer?
Is la série préférée de ma grand-mère.
Très bien. And she continues to say what?
Elle adore.
Très bien. What does this mean? La série préférée de ma grand-mère.
My grandmother's preferred series.
Good. All right.
Elle adore. Moi, je n'aime pas du tout.
Can you pronounce this?
Moi, je n'aime pas du tout.
Good.
Du tout.
Good. Moi, je n'aime pas du tout. What does that mean?
Me, I don't like it at all.
Exactement.
I don't like it.
Me, I don't like it at all. Or I don't like at all.
Mais ce soir, il y a un bon film.
À quelle heure?
Attends. À 10h30.
Oula, c'est tard. Demain, je travaille à 8h.
Can you pronounce this orally?
Ça,
Good. He said, c'est tard, demain, je travaille à 8 heures. What does that mean?
It's late.
Good.
Tomorrow I'm working at 8 o'clock.
Good.
Yeah.
Très bien. It is late. Tomorrow, I am working at 8 o'clock or I work at 8 o'clock. C'est la même chose. All right. Fantastic. Let's continue.
Tu vas où?
Prendre une douche.
Oh non. Toi, tu prends ta douche le matin.
What did she say?
Alors, tu prends ta douche le matin.
Oui.
Alors, tu attends.
Oui. Ah non, toi, tu prends ta douche le matin ou alors tu attends. What does that mean?
No. Oh, no. You take your bath in the morning. Or so you wait.
Good. Or better still, you wait. That's the literal meaning of that. Yes. Or better still, you wait. All right.
Ou alors, tu attends.
Ok. J'attends.
What is the signage on the door? What does that mean? Salle de bain. Oui. What does that mean? Très bien.
Qui est dans la salle de bain?
Can you produce this orally? Can you pronounce the words?
Qui est dans la salle de bain?
Oui.
C'est moi.
Oui. Qui est dans la salle de bain? Meaning what?
What are you?
No.
Who is in the bathroom?
Who is in the bathroom? Okay.
It's me.
C'est moi. Oh non. Monsieur Dubrook, vous avez de la confiture de fraises.
Can you produce this orally?
Vous avez de la confiture de fraises.
Oui. Vous avez de la confiture de fraises. What does that mean?
You can have the jam, the strawberry jam.
Good. Strawberry jam. Fantastic.
I say strawberry jam, yeah. I remember.
Fraises.
Non, merci. Je n'ai pas très faim.
Can you produce orally what he said?
Non, merci. Je n'ai pas très faim.
Oui. What does that mean?
No, thanks. I'm not very hungry.
Good. I'm not very hungry. Non, merci. Je n'ai pas très faim. Oui.
Je n'ai pas très faim.
C'est ma confiture avec les fraises de mon jardin.
Can you produce this orally?
C'est ma confiture avec les fraises de mon jardin.
Très bien. C'est ma confiture avec les fraises de mon jardin. Meaning what?
It's my jam with the strawberries from my garden.
Exactement.
My garden, yeah,
Il ne prend pas de confiture.
Can you produce this orally?
Mamie, ne prend pas de confiture.
Oui. What does that mean?
Mommy, he doesn't take jam.
Good. Grandma, he does not take jam.
Il ne prend pas de confiture.
Moi, le matin, je prends juste un café.
Can you produce that word orally?
Moi, le matin, je prends juste un café.
Oui. Moi, le matin, je prends juste un café. What does that mean?
Me, I only take coffee in the morning.
Okay. All right. Me, morning, I take just coffee.
Le matin, je prends juste un café.
Juste un café? C'est pas bien ça.
Can you produce this orally?
Juste un café, c'est pas bien ça.
Oui. Juste un café, c'est pas bien ça. What does that mean?
Just coffee It's not good.
Good. Like it's not good. Yeah, that's the literal meaning. Fantastic.
Oh, well. Oh, good, okay.
Il y a aussi de la confiture de cerise.
What did she say?
There is also
No, in French. Reproduce this in French. First. Oui. Oui. Il y a aussi de la confiture de cerise. What does that mean?
There's also a cerise jam.
What does this mean?
I don't know. Cerise, I don't know.
Really? Okay, for example, when someone says les cerises sur le gâteau, means the cherry on the cake. Okay? So, yeah.
De cerise. Avec les cerises de son jardin.
What did she say?
Like, it's not showing. It's not showing.
No, it's showing. Il y a aussi de la confiture de cerise. Oui.
Avec les cerises de son jardin.
What did she say?
Avec les cerises de son jardin.
Oui. What does that mean?
With the cherry from your garden.
Exactement. Exactement.
De son jardin. Mamie, arrête. Il prend juste un café.
What did she say now?
Mamie, arrête. Il prend juste un café.
Très bien. Mamie, arrête. Il prend juste un café. What does that mean?
Grandma, stop. He's taking just coffee.
Good. He's taking just a coffee. Good. Fantastic.
Un café.
Sorry, madam, but somebody cannot hear any sound. I don't know, just like.
Okay, please, if there is anybody in class that cannot hear a sound, it's most likely going to be from your network. Could you please log out and log back in again? I'm sure the audio will be better. Okay? Try and log out, then log back in. All right, so I am going to be playing the video without the transcriptions to see how we are able to retain the information that we hear and be able to produce them in French. You're not going to give me back the words in English. Please pay attention. I would expect that to produce the words back in French, okay? It is better for us to be able to retain the information in French, be able to produce it back as well in French, because that is what is going to help us. If you switch your English listening capacity on and doing translation or retention of the information in English, that might not be very helpful. Try to retain that information first in French, because that's what is going to help you during the exam to save more information in your memory than when you try to be doing English translation as your audio is playing in your comprehension oral. So this is part of the skill that you're going to be needing when you start practicing for your comprehension oral, be it your TEF or your TCF practice exam. Is that okay? All right. Just one sec, and we will get to the next transcription, to the next video without the transcription. Please, if you can't hear your audio, it's most likely going to be as a result of your network. So I encourage you to log out, then log back in, okay? All right. Attention, pay attention. So we'll start playing now.
Et sinon, toi, on ne pas te retenir une Groenland, c'est clair.
Désolée, il est 8h15.
What did you hear?
Désolé, Désolé, il est 8h15.
Ok, désolé. Il est 8h15. Ok?
Je voudrais voir plus belle la vie.
What did you hear?
Je voudrais voir plus belle la vie.
Très bien. Je voudrais voir plus belle la vie.
C'est quoi?
Une série.
What did he say?
C'est quoi?
Good. C'est quoi? And what did she say?
Une série.
Une série. Oui.
La série préférée de ma grand-mère.
What did she say?
La série préférée de ma grand-mère.
Oui. La série préférée de ma grand-mère.
Elle adore.
What did she say?
Elle adore.
And she said something now. She whispered something now. Listen again. I will take it a little bit back.
Moi, je n'aime pas du tout.
What did she say now?
Moi, je n'aime pas tout.
Moi, je n'aime pas du tout. Oui.
Mais ce soir, il y a un bon film.
What did she say now?
Moi, ce soir, il y a un bon film.
Oui. Mais ce soir, il y a un bon film.
À quelle heure?
What did he say?
À quelle heure?
À quelle heure? Oui.
Attends.
What did she say?
Attends.
Oui. What does that mean?
Oui.
Good.
Attends.
À 10h30.
What did she say?
À 10h30.
À 10h30.
Très bien. We have done expression of time. What does that mean in French? In English?
It means 10:30.
Good.
Oula, c'est tard.
What did he say?
Il est tard.
C'est tard.
What did he say?
Il est tard.
C'est tard. C'est tard. Oui. What does that mean?
It's late.
Good.
Demain, je travaille à 8h.
What did he say?
Sorry, Madam Mugo. He said c'est tard. C'est tard should be is late.
Yes.
I thought it's late.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Demain, je travaille à 8h.
What did he say now?
Je travaille avec.
No? Listen again, please.
Demain, je travaille à 8h.
What did you hear?
Je travaille à 8h.
There was something he said, a word you missed. Listen again.
Oh yeah, we try. That's 8 hours.
It is not even it's not even there. Listen again. Listen again.
Demain, je travaille à 8h.
What did you hear?
Demain,
Good.
je travaille.
Good. Demain, je travaille à 8h. Tomorrow, I'm working at 8. Yes.
Tu vas où?
What did she say?
Tu vas où?
Oui. Tu vas où? What does that mean?
Where are you going?
Good.
Prendre une douche.
What did he say? Listen again. Listen again.
Tu vas où?
Prendre une douche.
What did he say?
Prendre ma douche.
Oui. From a douche. What does that mean?
To have a shower.
Good. To take my bath. All right.
Toi, tu prends ta douche le matin.
What did she say?
Non. Non. Toi, tu prends la douche à matin.
Okay. Listen again.
Une douche.
Oh non. Toi, tu prends ta douche le matin.
What did you hear?
Toi, non, toi, tu prends la douche à matin.
Okay. You said no. Oui. Toi, tu prends ta douche le matin. You take your bath in the morning.
Ou alors, tu attends.
What did you hear?
Ou alors, tu attends.
Oui. Ou alors, tu attends. What does that mean?
Or you wait.
Or better still, you wait. All right.
Ok. J'attends.
What did he say now?
J'attends.
J'attends. Thank you in French.
J'attends.
Qui est dans la salle de bain?
What did she say?
Qui est dans la salle de bain?
Oui. Qui est dans la salle de bain? Oui.
C'est moi.
Oh non. Monsieur Dubrook, vous avez de la confiture de fraises.
What did she say?
Monsieur Dubrook, vous avez de la confiture de fraises.
Très bien. Monsieur de Bruck, vous avez de la confiture de fraises. Très bien.
Non, merci. Je n'ai pas très faim.
What did he say?
Non, merci. Je n'ai pas très faim.
Très bien.
C'est ma confiture avec les fraises de mon jardin.
What did she say?
C'est ma confiture avec des fraises de mon jardin.
Très bien. C'est ma confiture avec des fraises de mon jardin. Très bien.
Mamie, il ne prend pas de confiture.
What did she say?
Mamie, il ne prend pas de confiture.
Oui. Mamie, il ne prend pas de confiture. Très bien.
Moi, le matin, je prends juste un café.
What did he say?
Moi, le matin, je prends juste un café.
Oui.
Café.
Moi, le matin, je prends juste un café.
Juste un café? C'est pas bien ça.
What did you hear?
Juste un café, c'est pas bien ça.
Très bien. Juste un café, c'est pas bien ça.
Il y a aussi de la confiture de cerise.
What did she say?
Il y a aussi de la confiture de cerise.
De cerise. Il y a aussi de la confiture de cerise.
Cerise.
Avec les cerises de son jardin.
What did she say?
Avec les cerises de cerise, yes, de son jardin.
Avec les cerises de son jardin.
Mamie, arrête. Il prend juste un café.
What did she say?
Mamie, arrête, il prend juste un café.
Oui, mamie, arrête. Il prend juste un café. All right. So, this is just a preamble to what you're going to be learning or what you're going to be experiencing by the time you start practicing the actual comprehension oral, which means listening in your TEF or your TCF exam. So we will do more next time until we graduate into the TEF TCF practice class. So continue from where we stopped last week, just to have a recap. Who can list for me anybody in class? I mean, it is even better if everybody in class will give me or will chorus the answer. Situations where we use subjunctive in making our expressions in French. The first one, the first condition where you use subjunctive. Who can? Anybody in class? Let's go.
Expression of desire.
Expression of desire.
Express emotion.
Expression of emotion. Good. Next one.
Doubt.
Expression of doubt. Good. The next one.
Express fear.
Which other one?
Urgency.
Expression of fear. Expression of necessity. Okay? Good. So last week, we were seeing things like, for example, you want to say, he is happy that they are here. He is happy that they are here. Okay? And I mentioned to us that this that, imagine it to be like a bridge. And any other verb that comes after that is what you're going to be transforming into your subjunctive. You remember this explanation, correct? We know? Do we remember this part? Where I said that the verb that you put in your subjunctive present is the verb that you see after your preposition or relative pronoun that, after your relative pronoun that, sorry. Do you remember that? All right. And we have something like this. I want to say, they like that she eats the food. They like that she eats the food. If you look at the second example, just I'm trying to refresh our memory on what we did last weekend. They like that she eats the food. Which verb, the name of that verb in French is what I want to know. The infinitive. Which verb are we putting in the subjunctive in the second example? They like that she eats the food. Which verb would that be? Anybody? Good, to eat. So what do we call the verb to eat in French? Manger, fantastic. So it is manger that you're putting in the subjunctive, but this time around, subjunctive present. Why in this first example, the verb that we're putting in subjunctive is what verb? French name for that? He is happy that they are here. Which verb are you putting in the subjunctive? Good, être. Fantastic. All right. So this is just a recap of what we did last week. And if I want to say this in French, he is happy that they are here. This becomes il est content qu'il soit ici. Okay? So the plural conjugation of your verb être in the subjunctive present is what we're going to be putting here. Now, look at the second example. They like that she eats the food. So, they like is what? Class, what is the verb to like?
Aimer.
Aimer, good. So, what is they like? Good. So this becomes ils aiment. Remember, you have singular S here, we, and you have good, a vowel in front. So this will sound like Z. Ils aiment, that she eats the food will be what? Good. Mange la nourriture. Exactement. So this becomes ils aiment qu'elle mange la nourriture. And of course, your verb here, the manger, has already been conjugated in the subjunctive. So don't let this conjugation fool you. Exactly the way you conjugate in the present for first group verbs, that is ER verbs, is the way you conjugate its subjunctive in the je, tu, il, elle, on. Only the no and the vous are different because you have to add I before the ONS and add I before the EZ. And your il, L remain the same in the plural. I explained that last weekend. All right. So this is what we did as far as subjunctive present is concerned. But before we jump to subjunctive passé, I would like to share with you shortcuts that you can use in making your subjunctive expression, especially in the present. The present is not really very complicated. Imagine a situation where the verb that you are going to use is, say, a third group verb, and you're in an exam situation and you cannot remember the actual conjugation of the subjunctive of that verb. What then now happens? So take, for example, you want to say something like this. I want to say, I wish that they see the samples. I wish that they see the samples today. I wish that they see the samples today. So, I wish that. What verb are we going to be putting in the subjunctive with this example? I wish that they see the samples today. Which verb in French? What is that verb called?
Voir.
Good, the verb voir, which means to see. Now, imagine this was to be in an exam situation. Maybe you're having an interaction with the examiner, or maybe you're writing an essay or whatever thing it is. And the verb you're using is, say, irregular verb or third group verb, as the case might be. And you cannot remember the subjunctive conjugation of that verb. Because the truth is, it is quite tasking to memorize all of the conjugation of your verbs in the subjunctive. This is one of the major difficulties or challenges that students of French face, and is a real problem. So here is a shortcut that you can use, and it's not going to distort the meaning of whatever communication you want to put out there. So I wish that they see the samples. If you change this to be, I'm going to use this divider, and I will recreate this expression and write it as this. I wish that they can see the samples today. The first sentence and the second sentence, is there anything radically different from their meanings? Is there any radical difference? There is no radical difference from their meaning. So this is where I am going. You can actually use the verb pouvoir, which means to be able to or to can, okay, to help you in making this expression. And the reason is that the conjugation of the verb pouvoir in subjunctive is very easy. So if you're able to memorize that, it is going to help you. But please don't abuse it. I only encourage you to use it when you encounter maybe second group verb, third group verb, irregular verbs that you don't have an idea of how to conjugate. Then you can infuse your pouvoir, the subjunctive of your pouvoir, while you leave that verb unconjugated. Okay? So let me start by first conjugating pouvoir in subjunctive present. So if you go to your le conjugué, look at subjunctive present. So to be able to or can. So the subjunctive, you will see something like this. Que je puisse. Okay? Tu puisses. Il puisse. Nous puissions. Vous puissiez. Sorry, please check these spellings. I think there is no O here, please. Okay. Puissiez. Il puisse. Good. So once you're able to remember your conjugation of pouvoir in your je, tu, il, nous, vous, and il, the plural. So all you need to do is infuse that subjunctive. And then that verb that you want to use as your secondary verb is going to stay unconjugated. So coming back to this sentence, I wish they can see the samples today, becomes, what is the verb to wish? It starts with an S. The verb to wish, souhaiter, good. So this becomes, je souhaite qu'il puisse. Okay? Voir, samples in French, les échantillons. Oui. Aujourd'hui. So once you do this, you have actually used your pouvoir to help you get around, the idea of putting this guy. Because normally, if you go to the original expression we made, it is voir that you're supposed to be putting in the subjunctive. But with the aid of your pouvoir here, then you don't have to put voir in the subjunctive. So you go ahead, plug in your conjugation of your pouvoir in the subjunctive present, then put that secondary verb in infinitive, and you have for yourself a expression using subjunctive present and using pouvoir to help you navigate not being able to conjugate that verb in the subjunctive. So whatever verb you are using, be it prendre, mettre, dire, and so on and so forth, and you can't remember their conjugation in subjunctive present, all you need to do is infuse pouvoir and put that other verb in unconjugated form and use the conjugation of your pouvoir in subjunctive, and you are okay. Does this make sense? Is it understood? C'est compris tout le monde? All right, let me give you another one. Everywhere is quiet, and it means that some people still are struggling with it. Look at this. She fears that they are hearing the noise. She fears that they are hearing the noise. The verb to hear is entendre, third group verb. You may not be able to know is subjunctive. Do you understand? So you can also change it to what? In English, what would that be? If you're using pouvoir, what would that be?
That they can hear the noise.
Exactement. She fears that they can hear the noise. Or it could even be she fears that he can hear the noise. So I've been using this. So let me change this to he. So this becomes she fears that he can hear the noise. So all you need to do is to use your pouvoir here. Okay, when you start translating. Okay, and you leave the verb to hear in infinitive, and you have yourself expression in subjunctive present. So she fears, using craindre, the verb to fear, or you can use avoir peur. So this becomes what? Can you give me this? Craint. Kill. Puisse. Entendre. Oui. What is noise? Le bruit. Oui. Exactement. Most times in French, we do not pronounce consonant. Please always try to remember this. Okay? So this becomes un craint qui puisse entendre le bruit. Okay? So that gives you that expression. So this has totally eliminated the bottleneck of having to struggle with knowing how to put the verb to hear in subjunctive present. Does that make sense now? Is it clearer now? C'est clair tout le monde? Do you want another example? All right. So only one person said it's clear. So I want to believe that that is same for everybody. All right. So moving on now to subjunctive passé. Okay. So let me give you guys a brief story. My past students, so we have this running argument on subjunctive passé and subjunctive present. And what is that argument? The argument is Madame Ogo claims that subjunctive passé is actually easier to make than subjunctive present. And some of my students share the same sentiment, while others do not share that same sentiment. And by the way, on a scale, subjunctive passé will give you a higher score than subjunctive present. But hey, I am not saying that you should fill your work with subjunctive passé. No, it is always good to have a healthy balance of both. Do you understand? So, but it's important for us to know that subjunctive passé carries more weight than subjunctive present. How do we conjugate in the subjunctive passé? In your subjunctive passé, you are only doing one thing. And what is that thing? Identification of the auxiliary verb that conjugates that verb you want to use in the expression in the passé composé. And this highlights and underscores the comment that I made when we were learning passé composé, that every other grammar you're going to be learning, that understanding the auxiliary verb that conjugates your verb in the passé composé will be the fulcrum that will help you in understanding the subsequent grammars that you're going to be learning. So, under the subjunctive passé, all you need to do is to determine what is the auxiliary verb that conjugates this verb in the passé composé. It is that auxiliary verb that you are going to transform to subjunctive present while retaining the participle passé of the verb. Does that make sense? I will take it again. In subjunctive passé, all you need to do is to identify the auxiliary verb that conjugates the verb that you are going to be using. So you identify each auxiliary verb, and there are two auxiliary verbs you use in French under passé composé. It's either it is avoir or it is être. So what that means is that if it is a verb that conjugates with avoir, you are going to use the subjunctive of avoir plus participle passé of that verb. If it is être, you are going to use the subjunctive of être, okay, plus participle passé of that verb. So just to refresh our memories, so let's try to do the conjugation of our verb avoir in the subjunctive present. So who can tell me the first one is what? Oui. The second one, to a, il est. What is the nous? Nous ayons, good. The vous, vous ayez, good. Isé, oui. All right, yes. And for être, the first one is what? Je sois, oui. The second one, tu sois. The next one, il soit. The nous, nous soyons. The vous, vous soyez. Good. And the il soit. Okay? Wait. All right. So, I said that for our conjugation of the subjunctive passé, you are going to identify the auxiliary verb that conjugates the primary verb in the passé composé. So I'm going to put a note here. So, NB. In conjugation of the subjunctive passé, it is important to identify the auxiliary verb, then transform it into subjunctive present plus the participle passé of the verb. That's it. There is another key thing to note. In subjunctive passé, I have an analogy that I use in explaining that. Some of you might be asking, when do I know an expression of subjunctive passé? So if I should borrow a leaf from some of the examples that we used. So we have here examples. But before I go to the examples, there is what I call emotion and action. Okay? So look at this expression. They like that she eats the food. And the second one, they liked that she ate the food. And the third one, they like that she ate the food. Please follow me. Don't be distracted. Now, look at these three examples given here. They like that she eats the food. Number one. Number two, they liked that she ate the food. And number three, they like that she ate the food. Now, in these three sentences, what can you notice or what can you say about the three expressions? Who can tell me? Anybody in class? What can you notice in English? Tell me what you see. They like that she, what's the difference between they like that she eats the food and they liked that she ate the food and they like that she ate the food? What is the difference between these three sentences?
One is in present, the other one is past, and the third is past participle. I think we're just saying.
Okay, all right, fair try. So, number one, they like that she eats the food. So, we are still going to maintain that that is our bridge, is our divider, right? Because that is what we use in identifying the verb that we are transforming into the subjunctive. So, I will divide all of these sentences with that, with the relative pronoun that. So, on the left-hand side, my left hand, they like. So I call that the emotion part. While the right-hand side becomes the action part. So looking at the emotion part, they like. Is it present or past? When you say they like, is it present tense or past tense?
Present tense.
Good. All right. So this is present emotion. Now, look at the right-hand side. She eats the food. Is it present tense or past tense?
Present.
Good. So this is present action. Now, let's go to number two. They liked. Is it present or past?
Past.
Good. So this is past. Past what?
Past action.
Past emotion.
Motion.
And she ate the food is what?
Past.
Past what? Action. Good. And number three, they like. What is that?
Present.
Present what?
Present emotion.
Good. Present emotion. And the other part, she ate the food is what?
Past action.
Good. Past action. So here is the rule of subjunctive passive. Regardless of what the emotion is, be it present emotion or past emotion, the action must be in the past for it to qualify for subjunctive passive. So, given the three examples that we have on the screen, only number 2 and 3 qualify for subjunctive passive. Does that make sense? Are we together, everybody? Okay, so I'm going to put a note here. So in subjunctive passive, only the past action is considered to be transformed into the subjunctive passive. So it does not matter if the emotion is present or past, so long as the action is past. Okay? So we fear that they went to the zoo alone. We fear that they went to the zoo alone. We fear present emotion. They went, past action, they went to the zoo alone. I am happy that she was able to say something. I was happy that she was able to say something. I was happy. Past emotion. Was able to say something. Past action. Subjunctive passive. Okay? I am happy that she was able to say something. Present emotion. But the action is still what? Past action. So it is therefore what? Subjunctive passive. Are we together? Are we together?
We're trying meant to be together.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Now, what if, given the three examples or analogies that I have used above, so let's pretend that this expression, where did I put that now? Okay, all right, set it. Okay, so let's pretend that we have a number 4. And I want to say they liked that she eats the food. What do you think this will be? Does this still qualify for subjunctive per se?
No,
Good. Why did you say so?
because the action is present.
Fantastic. Because the action is what? Present action. Why the emotion is what? Past emotion. So you can see that in all cases, it is action that you focus on, not what your precursor says. Whether it is present emotion or past emotion, it does not matter. Okay? Even if it is future emotion or futuristic emotion, they will like that. It is still, so long as the action is in the past, then it will be subjunctive per se. So that's what I'm trying to emphasize on. Your emphasis should be on the action. What is it saying? If it is in the past, regardless of what your emotion says, whether it is present emotion, past emotion, conditional emotion, future emotion, okay, your action must be past for it to qualify for subjunctive per se. All right. So this is past emotion and this is present action. So let's do some examples. Let me make some examples. Examples, I want to say, the teacher wishes that the student studied before the exam. I liked that he accepted the gift. The lady is happy that we arrived today. They do not think that the children left alone. They do not think that the children left alone. So we have 4 examples on the screen. The teacher wishes that the student studied before the exam. I liked that he accepted the gift. The lady is happy that we arrived today. They do not think that the children left alone. So I want us to start first by identifying the verbs that we are going to be putting in the subjunctive per se. So for number 1, which verb are we putting in the subjunctive? Tell me the name of the verb in French. Anybody?
Étudier.
Good. Étudier. Fantastic. Étudier. And in passé composé, being that étudier is first group verb, ER verb, what do we use in conjugating it as auxiliary verb?
Avoir.
Good. Avoir. Fantastic. I liked that he accepted the gift. Number 2. Which verb are we putting in subjunctive passé?
Accepter.
Accepter. Beautiful. And what do we use in conjugation of accepter in passé composé?
Avoir.
Fantastic. Number 3. The lady is happy that we arrived today. Which verb are we putting in the subjunctive passé?
Arriver.
Good. And what do we use in conjugation of arriver? Remember your acronym, Dr. Mrs. Von der Trump. Good. Être. Fantastic. And the last one, number 4. Which verb are we putting in the subjunctive passé? Partir. Partir. Good. And what do we use in conjugation of partir? Fantastic. So, your job is already 50% done when you're able to identify the auxiliary verb that conjugates your verb in the passé composé. What you need to do is now to infuse the subjunctive présent of those auxiliary verbs plus participe passé of those verbs. So let's start with the first one. The teacher wishes that the students studied before the exam. So this becomes le professeur souhaite que les étudiants. So what would this be now? We are going to use avoir, right? So let me scroll up so that you can see the conjugation of your avoir in the subjunctive present. So this is your avoir plus the participe passé of the verb étudier. That's all. The two combined gives you subjunctive passé of the verb étudier. So this becomes le professeur souhaite que les étudiants aient étudié. Of course, with accent avant l'examen. Please, can we go to our le conjugué? Type the verb étudier and look for the subjunctive passé by your right hand side. If you see it in your le conjugué, can you say I? Has anyone seen it? Has anyone seen it? Oui. So today is ETUDIER. Okay, good. So the two combined, so you will see there j'ai étudié, tu as étudié, and so on and so forth. So that is the subjunctive passé of the verb étudier. Okay, all right. Now let's go to number 2. All right. So coming to number 2, I liked that he accepted the gift. So I liked is what? J'ai aimé. Okay? So this is past emotion, past action. J'ai aimé kill. We have already agreed that the verb accepted conjugates with avoir, and the conjugation of the verb avoir in the il form for each subjunctive present is what? Il est. We see it here on the screen. Are we together? Look at it here. Good. So you come back to that sentence and infuse that subjunctive present plus participe passé of the verb accepter. Il est accepté. Okay? The gift is what?
Le cadeau.
Le cadeau. So, j'ai aimé qu'il ait accepté le cadeau. I liked that he accepted the gift. And please take a tour to your le conjugué. Type accepter. Scroll to the bottom towards your subjunctive passé. You will see j'ai accepté, tu es accepté, il est accepté, and so on and so forth. Can you see that?
Oui.
Très bien. So, That is your subjunctive passé conjugation for the verb accepter. All right. Number 3, we have here the lady is happy that we arrived today. So, la dame est contente que nous. So the verb arriver, we have already agreed that it conjugates with what? Être. And what is the subjunctive of être in the no form? Soyons arrivés. And what do you think will happen to the participe passé? What should we add to it?
S.
Good. Fantastic. Aujourd'hui. Please take another trip to your le conjugué. Type arriver and look for the subjunctive passé of the verb arriver. You will see there, je sois arrivé, or que je sois arrivé, que tu sois arrivé, qu'il soit arrivé, que nous soyons arrivés, and so on and so forth. Is that what you see?
Oui.
Très bien. And the last one. We have here, they do not think that the children left alone. They do not think that the children left alone. So, they do not think that the children left alone. The verb partir also conjugates with what? Être in the passé composé. So, they do not think is what? Who will give me? No.
Croix or pense?
No. Il ne pense. Il ne pense pas, oui. Que les enfants. So you go to the plural of your être in subjunctive présent. And the il form is what? Il soit. Okay? So this becomes les enfants sont partis. You add s to your partir. Are we together? Tout le monde, est-ce que nous sommes ensemble? So this becomes soit parti with s. Okay? Alone, so with s. Please go to your le conjugué as well, type partir, and check for the subjunctive passé. You will see que je sois parti, que tu sois parti, qu'il soit parti, que nous soyons partis with s, and so on and so forth. Is that what you see?
Oui.
Très bien. Is it only one person that has seen it? Every other person? I want to believe it's the same thing for you. Is that the same thing for all of us? Rita, Fiona, Victoria, is that the same thing for you?
Oui, it's the same for me.
All right, fantastic. Now, good. Imagine that we have a reflexive verb. So I will give you this, and you will give it to me in French. Remember, in reflexive verb, what do we use for our auxiliary verbs when we are dealing with a reflexive verb?
Être.
Fantastic. We use être in conjugation of our verbs, reflexive verbs in passé composé. So, look at this. It is necessary that we stayed together during the event. It is necessary that we stayed together during the event, or it was necessary that we stayed together during the event. So let me change this one to it was necessary. Even if it is necessary, it's also correct grammar. It depends on the context that you're talking. All right. So it was necessary that we stayed together during the event. What is the verb to stay? Who remembers?
Rester.
Fantastic. And you know that that is also a reflexive verb or pronominal verb. Okay? So it was necessary. Here, you can use your passé composé, you can use your imparfait. It becomes what? Il était nécessaire. Okay? Or you can also say, il a été nécessaire que nous, what would that be?
Ensemble.
Something is missing. Nous soyons restés. Have you forgotten? Oui. The first nous is your reflexive pronoun. Okay? You remember now?
Oui.
Très bien. Ensemble.
Pendant.
L'événement. Fantastic. L'événement. That is it. Nothing more, nothing else. Okay? Look at number 6. You will give me this one. I want to say, we are happy that he taught himself. The subject. We are happy that he taught himself, the subject. The verb to teach oneself, what do we call it in French?
S'enseigner.
Good. S'enseigner. All right. So we are happy that he taught himself. We are happy is what? Sont content. Qu'il soit enseigner le sujet. That's it. Are we together? Are we together? Okay. Look at this one. I wished that I saw myself in his position. Think through before you answer this. I wished that I saw myself in his position. I wished that I saw myself in his position. Freestyle reflection of verb. What is to see oneself? Anybody?
Regard.
No. What is the verb to see?
Voir.
So what is the reflection? When you reflect it, what does it become? So voir. That's what you're using. Okay? So I wished that I saw myself in his position becomes what? I wished is what? Give me. J'ai souhaité. Have you forgotten the meaning of the verb to wish? That is souhaité. And you use avoir to conjugate it to the passé composé. So I wished becomes what? J'ai souhaité. Okay? Que. I saw myself becomes what? What is the reflexive pronoun for myself? The reflexive pronoun. Je me sois vous. Okay? In his position. Dans sa position. That's it. Okay? J'ai souhaité que je me sois vous dans sa position. Meaning, I wish that I saw myself in his position. There is no big deal about your subjunctive passé. It's just a big name. Nothing, absolutely nothing with it. The only thing you're doing with subjunctive passé is that you are transforming the auxiliary verb into subjunctive present. And it's only avoir and être plus participe passé of the main verb. That is it. Nothing more, nothing else. And also knowing that in subjunctive passé, what we are considering is the past action, regardless of what is in the emotion side of things. That's all. All right. So we are now going to be doing classwork. I will give you some verbs. You are going to use these verbs in making sentences in subjunctive passé, based on what you have learned so far. Before then, does anybody have any question? Please feel free to ask your question and I will answer it. Any questions? Anybody? Any questions? Anybody, any questions? Okay.